I want to get your thoughts on space because Kathy Woods has finally launched the Ark Space ETF, ARKX symbol there. Todd, what interests me looking at the top holdings, other than Trimble, which is a pretty big bet, 9%, rather big tech company, really. What's amazing is how many essentially aerospace companies are here. This is part of the problem with investing in space. You're largely got Lockheed here, Boeing, Komatsu, L3 Harris here. These are pretty old school companies. I mean, you've got Iridium too, but this is the problem with investing in something like space, right? I mean, there's just not enough pure plays to really make a huge difference. Or am I wrong in thinking about this?
No, we agree with you. I mean, it's a narrow universe right now of publicly traded companies that have a clear indication, a clear beneficiary for space exploration. Thematic ETF investing is often open to interpretation, and so the way that Ark describes its space ETF includes companies that will benefit from aerospace activities or technologies used to support aerospace. And so you've got companies like you mentioned, Boeing and L3, but it owns companies like Deere and Netflix, which would likely be beneficiaries of this. But it's not owning companies that you find within UFO, for example, like Laurel Space and Communications. It's different, and the $450 million is a sign that investors had interest in something Kathy Wood and team were going to manage, but I'm not sure they fully appreciated what they were getting.
Yeah, this is and I'm a big Kathy Wood backer. I think she's got a tremendous vision, and she's not afraid to take big outside bets. 31% in 5 companies, 50% in 10 companies. Those are outside bets, but it's really a stretch to argue, L3 Harris and Komatsu and Lockheed and Boeing. I mean, I know they're in aerospace, but, we're thinking space. We're thinking, satellites, and we're thinking the moon race, and we're thinking a lot bigger than that. This seems like a little bit of a stretch here. Jamie and Art, any thoughts on space and where it belongs in your portfolios?
Yeah, we see it, Bob, actually, in the Buzz holdings. Virgin Galactic was a holding that came into the index, I think, late last year. And again, within the top 10 contributors to this year's performance. One thing I think we know about space, it's certainly a long-term theme. And I give Kathy all the credit in the world for, staying true to her approach at Ark. But we know that sentiment will likely shift toward the prospects for viable space travel over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think that's, again, what we really believe in the approach of Buzz is that being dynamic around sentiment with respect to space versus boxed into a long forever space position might give you a little bit more flexibility, especially around defining which are the names that are going to lead us into space. And are investors positive toward that contribution, or is perhaps now not the right market environment for that kind of investment?
Art, want to close that out on space? Any thoughts?
Yeah. So, Bob, I mean, I totally agree with your point. So, AIEQ, we leverage a knowledge graph, which basically connects a bunch of different concepts. Space being one of them. So it's something that we'll continue to kind of build upon and learn on a daily basis. But it's still very difficult to kind of get exposure to that. And it's also, kind of more further out in the future. And because AIQ's got the dynamic nature to trade daily, right, you're not going to find a whole lot of exposure to space at the moment. But as things change, right, and we learn more, we're going to be able to identify, who the winners are. And so you'll see exposure right when the time is right.
Yeah. I agree with you. Again, I grew up with science fiction and space. I find this current environment really exciting. But the excitement is coming from people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson. And they're the ones that are generating real excitement, I think, because they're making a real difference. So my hat goes off to those guys. And let's just hope we get more space, not less space in the near future.